Hello and welcome to Crypto Ride. My name's Anthony, and in case you didn't know, China's government's made some bold announcements that are poised to ignite the crypto market and take blockchain-related assets even higher moving forward. In the video right now, we're going to cover the top 37 project ranked by China's Center for Information and Industry Development, and then explain what these announcements, which began back at the end of October, could mean for the United States as we head towards 2020. Before we get into it, I want to thank all our new and returning subscribers for being here and explain what we do for our first-time viewers. Crypto Ride helps you navigate the ups and downs of the craziest asset class on Earth by covering the biggest news stories, analyzing price action, and creating project review videos. If you're passionate about cryptocurrency and committed to building wealth over time, join our community right now by subscribing to our channel in the bottom right corner of your screen. All right, let's talk about China. Well, this all started back on October 25th, when the Chinese president gave an announcement saying that the Chinese government was going to be investing in and backing blockchain-related projects. At that point, Bitcoin saw a 40% rise in price from 7,500 to over 10K briefly. And outside of Bitcoin itself, just blockchain-related assets also saw spikes in price. Let's talk more about this. China's been on a roll with a series of crypto-related announcements. President Xi Jinping's speech to accelerate the development of blockchain technology in China was also followed by the passing of a cryptography bill. So they didn't waste any time. In fact, it was that same weekend they passed a bill. So it's really interesting. All of a sudden, you have China diving headfirst in on cryptocurrencies and blockchain, this could be related to some other things, which we'll talk about later. Meanwhile, China's Center for Information and Industry Development has continued to evaluate and rank crypto projects. We're going to talk about that. But I also want to show you this quote from the president himself. "We must take blockchain as an important breakthrough for independent innovation of core technologies, clarify the main directions, increase investment, and focus on a number of key technologies and accelerate the development of blockchain and industrial innovation." So this is huge coming from a president. I mean, if you live in the US like me, think about if President Trump said something, not just in a tweet, but he went on the record stating something like this about blockchain. This propels blockchain to other technologies that are potentially groundbreaking, like artificial intelligence and 5G. Right. And truly, I've always felt that blockchain has the potential to do for value exchanges what the internet did for information. So, I've thought, and if you're watching this channel, you've probably thought it's a transformational technology and you know that potential it has, but it's really nice to see the validation from one of the world's largest economies. This article just came out today. This is from Bitcoin.com, and I will share the link in the description below to this, and you can see they have a long list, which we're going to dive into in a minute, of 37 crypto projects that they have ranked the highest. What was interesting to me about this list is they weren't all Chinese-based cryptocurrencies, but I have some opinions about that I'm going to share with you as well. But here is the deal. As I mentioned before, China's Center for Information and Industry Development has developed the latest crypto rankings. 37 projects made the list, and they've been evaluated and ranked overall in 3 separate categories. These 3 categories were their basic technology, applicability, and creativity. What was interesting to me is that EOS was the top ranking cryptocurrency, right? Also Ethereum, which is not Chinese based, neither is EOS, and then Tron, which is Chinese based. But I was really fascinated with this list because there weren't only Chinese cryptos. So let's take a look at it. Here we go. Coming in at number 1 is EOS, as I mentioned. Number 2, Ethereum. Number 3, Tron. Nulls made the list. I'm not sure what GX chain is. BitShares. Ontology made the list at number 7. Neo at number 8. I'm not going to read every single one, but as you continue to look down here, you can see Bitcoin was number 11. ARK is on the list at 20. Dash, Nano. Some other payment currencies in those 2. Tezos made the list. Cardano, which I'm bullish on, made the list. I was kind of surprised to see Ripple made the list. I know Ripple has people that love and hate it, but I'm watching Ontology and I'm watching Neo. But take a look at how these things ranked. So Neo, for its basic tech, ranked 70. But look at the applicability, 26, and that was higher than most of these in the top 10. The applicability to me speaks volumes. I think especially if this is coming from China, and NEO it's been dubbed the Chinese Ethereum. The price of NEO gains over the next couple months. You can take a look up here. What I want to look at with you is I want to go over where these coins have moved over the last 14 days. So you can see down here the names of the coins, and I just want to point out a couple things. I'm showing you this because you want to follow the money. When you're investing, you always want to follow the money. You want to follow what people do, not what they say. So they're saying EOS is number one, and Tron and Ethereum are the top three, but I want to show you who the biggest gainers have been over the 14 days. And if you've been watching the charts, you won't be surprised, but take a look at this. EOS up 17%, almost 18% over the last 14 days. Ethereum, 6%. Look at some of these smaller numbers, and then look at NEO. NEO is up 57% over the last 14 days. Okay, Stellar 10%, Tron 27%, that was a big one. Tron also had some big news with their Samsung partnership, which wasn't even a real partnership, but you know, Samsung's integrating Tron, which is a good thing. All right, Nulls is up 26%, but also look at the other biggest gainer, which is Ontology. I personally, just for the record, happen to have positions in Ontology and NEO, but NEO was, I don't want to call it dead to me, but NEO was a project that I have seen huge losses, and I was considering selling multiple times, but I held on through the bear market, and I'm still holding. And for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about my NEO position. Do you guys holding NEO? Comment down below what you think NEO price could do. How high could this thing go? I'm thinking maybe around $20, $25 as the next significant resistance point. You know, do you think it's possible for NEO ever to see those massive numbers come up to that $175, $200 highs again? And if so, when? Also, in the comments section below, let me know what projects you're watching right now and which ones out of this list of 37 that I just showed you that you are most bullish on. The next piece of news I want to cover here from the Daily Hodl is an article called Ripple Founder Calls China's Blockchain Endorsement Phenomenal, says US regulators now have to step up. I'm not showing this article to talk about Ripple, but I am showing it to talk about how the US now has pressure on them to react. And I made a tweet about this when the thing first came out, when the announcement was first made, and I definitely echo the general sentiment of this article, and I think it's the US's turn. So the Ripple founder, Chris Larsen, said that the endorsement of blockchain from China is putting pressure on the US regulators to react. And then he goes on and starts to kind of compare this to the internet. There was a critical moment in 97 when regulators laid out a framework for the internet. And that's kind of what you need here. And we haven't done that, meaning the US regulators and the government haven't set clear guidelines and regulations. But another point to consider is that finance is way more complicated than just data alone. Way more complicated. You know, when the internet had its watershed moment, and then that came into the big .com bubble back in the late 90s, it was in some ways much more of a simple thing to do, but now we're actually talking about money, and we're talking about value, which I think ignites governments, and it's forcing governments to be a lot more cautious with the regulations. But now all of a sudden you have the US, and you know they've been in this trade war with China for, I don't know, the last year or two, right? It's been a while. Now you have the other largest economy in the world being China, kind of making a major move and saying they're investing in blockchain. And if you didn't know, China is also going to be rolling out their own digital currency. And they're making some really interesting moves right now, which on a macro scale could actually make some impact on the value of the US dollar. And I'm probably going to make a separate video about that, but it's something that you also need to be aware of. But China's making big moves there. How is the US going to react? Are they going to react at all? Because as I've been saying for probably a year now, I first said this, I made a video about Ripple a year ago, and I was just saying how the United States really is lagging behind on cryptocurrency, and they're going to get left in the dust in one of the most revolutionary technological breakthroughs in history if they don't start moving a little bit faster. So that's where we're at the moment. It's been amazing to watch this channel grow. Now approaching 2,000 subscribers. I'm past the 1,600, coming up on 1,700 subscribers. Again, I started this thing from zero. I didn't buy any subscribers. I've just been doing it myself and trying to be as honest with you as I possibly can. I hope you guys appreciate that. If you do, give the video a like, share it with a friend. And, you know, I'm trying to just cover some of the bigger stories. I try and put stories that matter to you. I covered Chica's 5 coins to 5 million. I covered the backed launch. And now I'm definitely going to be focusing in on China over the next couple weeks and even months, because I mean, people have called this the new space race, this technological race between China and US, but US has to check in and they've got to get on board if they don't want to fall behind, as I said before. But thanks again. I want to remind you, as always, to enjoy the ride. Don't sweat the small price fluctuations, the day-to-day stuff, and never, never, never invest more than you can afford to lose in this risky but exciting and amazing asset class we call cryptocurrency. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.